300 nautical miles from land, the vessel Pelagios holds position above an abyss 4,000 meters deep.
A team moves with the precision of shared experience. They have prepared for this moment for 18 months.
The search spanned continents, archives, seafloor surveys, and the procurement of equipment built for crushing depths. The target was the Empress Adelaide, lost in 1889. Her manifest listed 27 crates of hides among her cargo.
In Munich, a discovery. 3 buyers from the Hermès workshops in Paris were aboard, returning with an extraordinary acquisition.
At 200 meters, external lights revealed a hidden world, a snowstorm of life, each flake a tiny organism.
In the midnight zone, life creates its own light. Bioluminescent constellations flickered in the eternal dark. "4,000 meters down, they leveled off. The abyssal plain stretched away, a desert of sediment untouched by time. The first debris appeared, a fragment of hull colonized by life, a monument slowly being reclaimed by the deep. The Empress Adelaide emerged from the darkness, not a ship anymore, but a sculptural reef, home to a thriving ecosystem. Life had taken hold in this oasis. A rat-tail fish, evolved for this pressure, regarded the intruding light with indifference. Among the organic sludge, they saw rectangles, too regular to be natural, the outlines of crates defined by rusted metal straps.
They ascended, carrying confirmation. The target had been found. Now began the harder task, bringing it back.
Back on the Pelagios, the team planned the recovery. They would not descend again. A remotely operated vehicle would do the delicate work.
The excavation took 40 hours. Water jets cleared sediment, revealing the crates trapped under collapsed deck plates.
The most delicate phase, rigging the crates for ascent. One slip could destroy what had been preserved for over a century. On deck, the massive winch began its work, hauling up a load suspended in the deep, invisible but for its transponder signal. The crate rose from the abyss, leaving a trail of falling sediment, beginning its long journey back to the surface world.
At 1,700 meters, the systems detected an anomaly, a shift in the load, a moment of shared, silent tension.
The ROV's camera revealed the issue. A corroded metal band had snapped. The crate was secure, but the configuration had changed.
The decision was made to continue. The risk was acceptable. The ascent resumed, a calculated gamble against the depth.
After hours of ascent, it breached the surface, a dark, dripping mass from another age, arriving into the light.
On the recovery deck, the first crate was secured. The transformation from seafloor artifact to cargo was complete.
The next 2 crates followed. 30 more hours of meticulous, exhausting work under the relentless Atlantic sky. The cleaning began. Specialists worked with the care of archaeologists, stripping away the accumulation of the deep. As the crate was opened, the truth was revealed. Inside, stacked in neat layers, was the prize. The first panel emerged. It was stiff, darkened, but intact. The scale pattern of the extinct caiman was unmistakable.
As they cleaned a corner, the original color appeared. a deep, rich burgundy from a lost, dying process.
On the 8th day, with the work done, the team gathered. The ocean was calm, the sunset transforming the sea to hammered copper. The team stood together, wordless. The shared endeavor, the risks, the focus, it culminated in this quiet moment. One by one, they reached out to touch what they had recovered. A physical connection to the impossible journey.
In his hands, the leather was more than a commodity. It was a link to extinct species.
The sun slipped below the horizon. The sky blazed with afterglow, a final, dramatic curtain on their operation. Artificial light replaced the sunset. The moment passed. Practicalities returned, securing the treasure for the voyage home. They moved reluctantly, unwilling to let go. They had touched the abyss and returned with proof that some lost things can be found. The Pelagios remained, a speck of human endeavor on the indifferent ocean. Below, the wreck returned to its eternal silence. The leather would be conserved, studied, valued. But here, on this deck, its value was measured in the satisfaction of the quest itself.
We're right here. We're gonna get you out. We got him. Easy now. Lift on 3.
The pilot's hands moved with minimal input, a dancer's touch guiding tons of machinery through the silent water column.
The operator monitored a universe of data: pressure, temperature, structural integrity, the vital signs of their dive.
The sonar painted the promise of their target, a cluster of returns that broke the flat line of the abyssal plain.
They moved at a walking pace, a deliberate search pattern, scanning for the first physical evidence.
The personal artifacts were the most haunting. A single plate, a fragment of a life interrupted over a century ago.
The ship's boilers stood like cathedral pillars, transformed into a foundation for a silent, slow-motion forest of sponges.
Life flourished in the total darkness, feeding on the constant rain of organic matter from the world above.
They found an opening. The lights penetrated the hold, revealing not just ruin, but order amidst the chaos.
There. The alignment, the spacing, it matched the shipping manifests exactly.
The wood was mostly gone, consumed, but the iron straps remained, a skeletal blueprint holding the treasure within.
Target confirmed. Repeat, target confirmed.
The confirmation was radioed to the surface. 8 months of preparation hinged on this single transmission.
On the return journey, the ocean put on another show, a field of living stars to guide them home.
In the ship's conference room, the footage was analyzed. Every detail of the crate's condition was scrutinized and debated.
A recovery plan was drafted, a choreography of machines to extract the crates without destroying them.
We must be careful of this debris field right here.
The ROV was their proxy, their hands at the bottom of the sea. It was prepared for a marathon of precise, brutal work.
The first cuts were the most critical. A mistake could bury the crates further or collapse the remaining structure.
Each piece of debris was handled with respect. An archaeological protocol followed, even in a commercial salvage. For 40 hours, the ROV worked without pause. Shifts changed in the control van, but the machine below did not rest.
And there, in a gap, was the proof. A stratified edge, dark and dense.
Rigging required the patience of a jeweler. The straps had to be positioned to distribute the immense stress of the lift.
Okay, winch, easy on the tension. ROV, engage thrusters and stabilize depth at 500 meters. We are looking good down here.
Rigging secure. The call from the control van triggered the next phase, the point of no return.
The winch drum turned, taking up the immense slack. 12,000 meters of cable began its journey home.
The crate rose, a ghost leaving its grave. For the first time in 134 years.
On sonar, it was just a dot on a screen. But everyone knew what that dot represented. Potential, value, vindication.
A significant load shift. Not a catastrophic failure, but a change in the careful equilibrium of the lift.
The camera revealed the culprit. Century-old metal, finally yielding to the strain. The engineering of 18...
Continue the ascent. The order was given. The winch drum resumed its slow, powerful rotation. As it entered the sunlit zone, the crate was baptized in natural light for the first time since the age of steam. Breaking the surface was a primal moment. A thing lost was now found. The ocean had surrendered a piece of its secret.
The second recovery was a repetition of the first, but the team's movements were sharper, fueled by proven success.
Through the night, the work continued. The abyss knew no day or night, only the perpetual dark.
With the third crate secured, the physical mission was accomplished. 3 recoveries, 3 victories against the odds.
They sat there, alien artifacts on a modern deck. The culmination of a dream that began in dusty archives. The scientists now took center stage. Their task was to reveal what the ocean had hidden, layer by delicate layer. The cleaning was a revelation. Under the mineral concretions, the original surfaces began to whisper their stories. Opening the crate was the moment of truth. The suspense was palpable, a quiet gathering around the unknown.
The first touch confirmed it. The texture was there. The caiman's hide, frozen in time by tannins and deep-sea chemistry.
The cleaning of the first panel was a ritual. With each pass of the brush, more of the 19th century emerged.
And then, the color. A burgundy so deep it was almost black, but in the light, it revealed its hidden fire.
The work became a production line of wonder. Each panel was a unique specimen, photographed, numbered, cherished. On the 8th day, with the work complete, they staged the pieces for one final record. The sunset provided a fitting backdrop.
The touch was not greedy, not proprietary. It was reverent, a connection across time and depth.
For the pilot, the value was in the journey, the skill, the confrontation with the abyss. The prize was almost incidental.
For the specialist, this was history made physical. A textbook chapter he could hold in his hands.
The packing began. Each panel was prepared for its next journey, to conservation labs, to a new chapter above the waves.
Paperwork finalized the endeavor. Signatures on documents that would trigger payments, studies, and legacies.
The treasure was now packaged, sanitized, ready for the market. The romance of the recovery was giving way to commerce.
With the anchor raised, the Pelagios turned for home. Its work was done. The long voyage back to the world began.
For some, leaving the site felt like an abandonment. They had connected with the deep. Surface life seemed trivial. In the mess hall, the fatigue set in. The shared silence was comfortable, filled with unspoken memories. The specialist continued his work until the last moment, documenting details only he would ever notice or understand.
The return voyage was an anticlimax. The drama was over.
The leather's journey was not over. It would be studied, restored, and sold. Its story was now interwoven with theirs.
Landfall approached. The insular world of the ship would dissolve, and the team would scatter to their separate lives.
They reached into the crushing dark and returned with proof. The bonds formed in the pressure hull were unspoken but permanent. A language of shared glances and understood risks. The return to port was a bureaucratic transition. The adventure ended where paperwork and handovers began.
The panels left the ship, transferred into the custody of specialists who would begin the years-long process of conservation. Stepping onto solid, unmoving ground felt strange. The ship, their home for weeks, was now just a vessel again.
No long goodbyes. They were professionals, and the job was done. Their community, forged in the Atlantic, disbanded.
Each panel was subjected to a battery of non-invasive tests, revealing the secrets of the lost tanning and dyeing techniques.
A year later, the first pieces were presented. Under gallery lights, the leather was no longer an artifact, but a objet d'art.
The market convened. Connoisseurs saw not just leather, but rarity, provenance, and a story that justified any price.
Sold for £720,000 to the gentleman on the telephone.
For the specialist, publication in an academic journal was the true reward. Her name was now part of the historical record.
Cái như vậy là chất xung mái ruộng đi chào hai dạng. Đình trên ái bên phái ni mai tận chuyện. Nên sẽ được tung phuong ở dũng xưng cầm vụ đi hộp.
Some returned to simpler things. The silence of the abyss was replaced by the quiet of a familiar, rolling deck.
The coordinates of the wreck were recorded, but the site was left in peace. The ocean reclaimed its solitude.
One panel found its final home in a museum, where its story could be told to the public, not just the wealthy.
Recovered from a depth of 4,000 meters, the story sparked imagination, a tale of adventure and discovery.
It would become part of a new masterpiece, a fusion of 19th century material and 21st century vision.
That shared, silent moment on the aft deck became their touchstone, a personal treasure recovered along with the leather.
The director kept his own memento. Not something of monetary value, but of personal significance.
The journey of the leather was a web spanning the globe, connecting people across time, discipline, and purpose.
And so it found meaning beyond price, as a story of human ambition, patience.
The process continues. The deep is still a repository.
He showed them the picture, the exhausted, triumphant team, the leather in the golden light. We proved it was possible, he said.
It shows the catastrophe, the long descent, and the century-long, slow-motion rebirth as an ecosystem.
The memories are developed in quiet rooms, not on computer screens. A personal artifact of a professional triumph.
The great adventure took its place among the other chapters of a life, no more or less important than the rest.
In the end, it was just skin from an animal treated by human hands, lost to the deep